medications that will help his sodium level and other medications that can also help with his behavior, so that when we come off of that, it will hopefully help him be more cooperative. I do believe he's going to, like, these people with brain injuries like him, especially young, healthy, like up and around people, like usually it's just like a light switch one day, but we like battle it until that light switch goes off, or we get the right combination of medications. But I mean, he's even getting to the point where he won't take some of his oral medications, and some of those include salt pills, which he's not taking. I'm just really worried that he's
what medication are they? What medication are you trying to sedate him with?
I don't know what they're going to use. The ICU physician is going to be taking over. So, but he'll be continuously monitored over there with a nurse that just belongs to him.
Are they going to have to restrain him?
I think they may initially have to, but the goal, they know. I've talked to them about the issues with the restraints and all of that. That, you know, that's not the goal to keep him that way. But we do have to keep. We have to keep him safe. We have to keep our staff safe. And we're just in a really difficult situation right now.
Is he being kept there? Like, obviously he doesn't want to be there, but like if I agreed to come pick him up, would he be allowed to leave the hospital, or is he being held on
so
some?
At this point, if his sodium weren't an issue and you wanted to take him home, that would be, we would release him to your care. But with his sodium being low, if you took him home at this point, it would be against medical advice.
But I could take him against medical advice. Is he the one making his decision, is what I'm asking. Like, is he...
So he doesn't have capacity to make decisions.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I wanted to...
We would not let him leave when he says he wants to leave, because he does not understand the risks or the benefits of any decision that he makes because of his brain injury. Does that make sense? Like,
but would you allow him to leave if I said I could take him home and care for him, which I would not do if he is in danger of a sudden, like, seizure or, you know.
So like I said, if his sodium was not an issue, if his sodium was normal, we would let you take him home, and you know, and that will eventually be the plan. You know, they screened him for Medicaid. He made too much money for that, and so he can't go to rehab or anything.
Well, but he does. For one thing, they got the information from his girlfriend, who is not married to him, and she doesn't know how much he makes. And I helped him do his taxes, and he does not make that much because he has things he writes off for his business. And
that can be that application can be redone on Monday. I will tell you that pretty much people have to be unemployed in order to qualify for Medicaid. So if he was working enough to pay for his bills. But anyway, aside from that.
No, because this is important, because I like knowing whether to take him out or not is a part of it is a financial decision, and he is not able to earn anything right now. I mean, would you hire him now?
That's true.
Okay, so he makes zero.
So if we're not to a point talking about discharge from a rehab standpoint, or like at this point at this day right now with his labs the way they are, if you decided to take him out of hospital, it would be against medical advice. Now, if his sodium was normal, but he was still brain injured and acting the way he is, you know, there wouldn't necessarily be any medical care that he needed. It would be that, you know, that at that point it's all just recovery and waiting for his brain injury to heal. And so at that point, he could be discharged in your care, and that would not be against medical advice. That would be an appropriate discharge. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. All except that I just don't know. I guess that makes sense to me. I don't want to go. I don't have legal custody of him, so I can't go against medical advice.
Yeah, well, and it's not, you don't actually have to have legal custody of him. You're his legal next of kin.
Okay.
You know, you're the one, if you weren't here and it was only his girlfriend, even that person can make decisions for him, because in the state of Arkansas, it just needs to be legal next of kin or someone that has a vested interest in the patient, is showing up, and seems to be making reasonable, rational decisions for the patient. But you are legal next of kin, because some people don't have family, but some people have a lot
Right.
of family.
I'm laughing because that's kind of a catch-22, because if you're saying that taking him out is not a rational decision, then how can I take him out? If I'm not making rational decisions, then I can't take him out.
But if we deem that you have, but if we were concerned about the decision, but you had capacity to make decisions, then we couldn't stop you. We can't hold people against their will as long as they have capacity to make decisions. Now, he doesn't have capacity. You are his de facto decision maker. So all decisions that are related to him until he regains capacity is going to default to you. So
well, I'm not going to make decisions for him. I'm going to listen to what he says. But so when the hospital says that it's rational for him to leave, then I will take him home. But until the hospital says it's rational for him to leave, meaning that he won't die on the way home.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all very reasonable.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it triggers his PTSD to be restrained. If there is a way for me to sit there and spoon feed him sodium, I will do it. So if that's an option, instead of using IV and having to restrain him, then let me do it that way.
I don't know. He is going to go to the ICU.
Okay.
He has become too much for the nurses to safely be able to take care of over here while taking care of their 4 or 5 other patients.
All right.
So he's going to go to the ICU. At that point, someone on my team, but one of the surgeons, right now it's Dr. Greer, he will be under his care because I manage the floor patients. And I reached out to him because I said, I don't have anything else. I don't know what else to do for him. It's starting to get, if nurses can't take care of the other patients, it's becoming a safety hazard for him and for them, just for everybody. And our job is to keep him safe as well as everyone else safe. And, we have to do the best we can with what we have. And so I think sending him over there where he has a nurse that is assigned, one nurse that is assigned to him, just him. And then, it's a little bit harder to escape over there. Here, he's down by the door. We've kind of locked the doors as best we can, but we can't lock them from the inside, only the outside. We've done all of the environmental modifications that we are capable of doing to try to keep him from. He got downstairs and the police showed up, and I sent the police away because I know that if he's triggered by restraints because of being locked up, he's probably triggered by police too.
Definitely.
So, we are aware, and we are trying our very best to be as minimally invasive as possible, but it's getting to a point where I'm worried that it is going to be detrimental to his life if we don't act immediately.
Okay.
And so, I know that you don't want him sedated, and I know that you don't want him restrained, and I get all of that. 100% I do. That's why we've been working so hard to try not to do those things. But, at this point, it's going to have to be his life over.
Right. I understand.
We'll have to kind of deal with that.
I understand what you're saying. I'm not necessarily agreeing with it, but I do agree with the fact that if he's going to be subject to having a sudden seizure, that he should be in the hospital. But I wish that I could be given an opportunity to keep him, in his room and give him some things that made him more comfortable to staying. And he did sound to me like he was going to cooperate. You've seen that when I talk to him, he does calm down and he does listen to directions and stuff. But I'll do what I can.
The ICU doesn't negate you being able to be over there to try to help with some of those things.
Okay.
They will have a little bit. They may have some restrictions overnight. I'm not sure. But for sure, having people here that he trusts and he knows around more than not is helpful for us, just because he doesn't know us. He doesn't have a reason to trust us. And when you're brain injured, that's, 20 times worse. And so, we're really, we take care of patients like him all the time. I feel like we're really good at what we do. We have difficult patients, and we know how to talk to them to try to help keep them from escalating. And, we also know that he is not in control of his actions right now. So anything he says or does is not necessarily him as a person. It's just his brain is injured, and we have to kind of work through it until he gets better. So, but anyway, all that being said, I wanted to let you know about the ICU transfer so you weren't surprised when you got up here.
Okay.
Depending on when you get here, they may be in the process of moving him over, so you might not be able to come in right away because, they're going to try to get him settled or whatever. But just know that he'll be back over on H4 where he was in the beginning.
Okay. And the other thing is, I wish that you would wait to sedate him and stuff, because he's going to think that I lied to him on the phone when you had him talking to me a little bit ago. And I told him that I was on my way there and I'm bringing him the pillow, and he understood and he agreed to go back up to the room. And now I'm going to get up there, and he's going to be hooked up and restrained, and he's going to blame it on me. He's going to think I lied to him. So
in all likelihood than not, he won't remember. But
yes, he will.
There's not a clean bed for him over
Okay.
there right now. They're waiting on them to clean a bed.
Okay.
So there is a chance that if you're able to leave soon, you can get here before he moves over. But I
Okay.
can't stop the flow of the transition because
Okay.
they'll put somebody else in that bed
Okay.
if I don't. So,
I will.
okay.
I'll get over there in an hour. Thank you.